You gonna count off, Hamu, before you just dump us in the public view?
Yes, I'll do that for you, Jody.
Please.
Let's see. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna mute and I'll change the screen and then you'll know to start.
And we are live. Are we live? We're live. It looks live. Welcome, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Jodine Dorsey. I am the founder of Dorsey Creative Production and host of my own web series called The Silver Lining, as well as host of Apollo Music Cafe and Capital Jazz TV. ADAMA, the African Diasporic Art Museum of Atlanta, has a motto: everywhere we go, there we are. The ADAMA team is actively building bridges across the diaspora with the power of art. We want to thank the board of ADAMA for creating this platform. The ADAMA Art Salon is a weekly series of conversations with artists, scholars, curators, and more, whose work and works center around and on creative expressions of the African diaspora. Today, I'll be moderating. I have the honor of moderating a conversation with four amazing music artists, exploring the topic of music beyond the realm of entertainment. You'll learn more about these artists, their process, ideas, just so much more. Let me just get straight to it and let me introduce them for you. I'm going to introduce them and then I'm going to have them do some shout outs in the whole 9 yards. Maya Azvacina. She's a Brooklyn native, an avid independent touring artist and songwriter, performing globally. Her music has landed her on stages in South Africa, Indonesia, in my home Haiti, Russia, India, and other fascinating countries around the globe. Maya is well known for her humanitarian outlook and projects around the globe, which include special focus on women's and youth empowerment and domestic sexual violence. Based on a personal commitment to help the world through her talent, most of Maya's songs are anthems that lends the voice to self-worth, empowerment, overcoming obstacles, and stepping into our fearless selves. She is a friend and an amazing artist. Maya Azvacina, what part of the world are you in and how are you feeling?
Hey, everybody. What an honor to join these other incredible artists and you, Jodine, my dear friend, but also someone I admire. I am from Brooklyn, but I quarantined and have spent this year primarily in Istanbul, Turkey. So I'm in Turkey right now, y'all.
Nice.
And I am well. I'm thankful that, health is is all good and family is all good in these crazy times. I've been up and down in terms of my emotional reaction to white supremacy and things of this nature. But being an artist, this time has also brought a lot of new songs and a lot of reflection and writing and just more clarity on who I can be in this particular time and climate. Hope that answers the question.
It does. More to come on all of that, more to come. Oshunlade, he is a musician who lives his art, American-born musician and music producer, from Sesame Street, yes, I pulled out the Sesame Street on you, to creating Yoruba records. Oshunlade is a priest of the Yoruba religion of Ifa. Because of his beliefs, music has a deep spiritual root in Yoruba traditions that are also reflected in the name of his record label, album covers, and also the titles of the tracks globally. This man has saved me so many times. He continues to feed my soul. Oshunlade, where are you zooming from and how are you feeling?
I'm home with mom in St. Louis.
St. Louis.
St. Louis, yeah, in the middle of it all. Everything's good. I'm actually, I mean, this is pretty much the same for me as anything. I'm always cooped up in some place for a specific amount of time. So But yeah, Maya was saying, it's just been really good creatively for me. I've churned out about 5 albums since these things happened. And
Wow.
yeah. I mean, it's a lot of things to write about and to speak about it. Again, what Maya was saying was it's a reflection and it's a perspective of everything that's happening. And but yeah, we'll get into all that. But yeah, I'm good. I'm enjoying the change and the vibration and the social awakening of everybody. So that's interesting and welcomed situation for me.
Perfect. Next artist. She needs no introduction. I've been following this sister for years. She's the voice okplayer.com, proclaimed as one of the most formidable microphone mavens in the game. Sarak has carved out her own lane through a combination of airtight role play and intelligent concepts. She performed alongside artists like Talib Kweli, Deb Perez, and was recently featured on NPR's Tiny Desk, and she ripped it. If you've not seen it, when you finish the Salon series, please go out and check it out. It is amazing. Sarak, how are you feeling? What city are you in? How's it going?
Thank you. I am based in Atlanta right now. I feel good. I have had moments of extreme clarity and I've had moments of extreme anxiety. So there's been like that kind of roller coaster that I feel like we've all experienced during this time. But I feel like it's offered me moments to self-reflect and just really recenter that I don't often get when I'm traveling on the road and just constantly connecting with folks. So I've definitely taken moments to reflect and be grateful for this time of solitude for sure.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Wow. This creative genius and mastery of acoustic bass, electric bass, rhythm guitar, and piano makes him one of the most sought after musician producers in hip hop, house, blues, rock, reggae, soul, straight head jazz, you name it. Since 1986, it's an interesting fact. Since 1996, there's not been a top 10 jazz album that didn't feature Taurus Mateen. Two of hip hop's shining Southern artists. I have to say this because I'm from ATL as well. Groups like Outkast and Goody Mob can credit their critical acclaim and platinum commercial success with Taurus's contributions to their albums. He is consistently requested for performances and studio sessions. This man is another jazz artist. If you have not checked him out, you must check out his work. Please introduce Mateen. Taurus, how are you feeling? Where are you in the part of the world right now?
Peace, family. I'm feeling great. I'm in Washington, D.C. right now. Just got back last night from Philadelphia and, enjoying the space to create. Right. I haven't done 5 albums, Oshun, but I've been on. I'm right behind you, though. I don't know, though. Right. Nowadays, an album is about 6 or 7 songs. So
I'm like 9 or 10 for each.
Yeah, but there, I'm not.
Taurus, Oshun's songs be 40 minutes.
I already know. This is great. It's great to be on this panel. When I saw all the panelists, I saw, man, this is going to be.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Really, really
how's everybody's cities? Like the climate in the cities. Here it's pretty quiet. They've kind of really taken hold of the social distancing in the stores and the shops. Nothing's really open.
Yeah, it's the same thing like that here in DC.
Yeah, we haven't gotten any. I think it's like a rise of 20 people, 20 cases per day around there. So we're doing all right, I guess.
Wow.
That's still good.
We got the protests still going on and all that.
That's still good. Same energy here in New York.
Same
energy here in New York.
Istanbul is, lots of people, like a New York kind of city, but people are really respecting using the masks. Well, basically you get charged almost $1,000 if you got caught without a mask. So everybody
Yeah,
used their
you
masks.
use the mask.
And social distancing, they just opened things like malls maybe about 3 weeks ago, but they're literally like stickers on the ground about where you can stand to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
cash
they got
register
that.
and things.
Yeah.
So it seems like people are respectfully integrating, but I'm not doing any big social gatherings myself.
Yeah, same.
Same. Well, there's so much that we have to talk about here during this series. But one thing I wanted to talk to the four of you about is you as a creator. When people think of artists and musicians, they just think artists and musicians. But I look at you, the four of you specifically, I look at you as if one would call a miniature God, because you've created into the world, right? And so one of the first things I'm always curious about when I meet creators such as yourself is what drew you into music, right? Ray Charles said, and you guys know I love me some quotes. So Ray Charles said he was born with music inside him. Music was one of his parts, like his ribs or his kidneys, livers. It's a force already within me. When I arrived on the scene, it was necessary for me, like food and water. How do you? And I'll start with you, Oshun, and then anyone else can jump in. But what drew you into music? Did it choose you? Or
From my earliest memory, it was the only thing that I knew that made me feel. I was an only child, so I didn't really have like any cohorts or any friends or sisters, brothers, or anything. So yeah, music was everything to me. I think it was also a way of my expression to my family, my parents. So yeah, it was just that was the one thing. At 7, I decided I wanted to start playing piano. My dad bought me a piano, and I was in piano lessons the next week, and that was it. And from there, it was just like luckily I had the support of my family for that. But yeah, it was just that one thing. Like I know in this life that it's the only reason I'm here is to do music.
Wow.
And to use it as my platform to speak what I see, and the injustices and the love and all the beautiful things as well. So yeah, it's that one thing. It's my voice. It's carried me through this journey, and yeah, it's the only language we all speak, no matter what language you speak. It's the one thing. You can go to Turkey and listen to someone go, oh man, that's wonderful. I don't know what she's saying, but I know what she's talking about. And that's the thing.
Right. Any thoughts on that, Taurus? Maya, what drew you to music? What started this path for you?
I am a Taurus, so don't confuse me then.
Yeah. and ladies first.
Sure? All right. Okay. For me, I can't remember a time where music was not inside of me. It definitely was like innate. My earliest memories all included singing. Like I did my first play, I think, when I was 4, and it didn't stop. I never one time thought maybe I'll be something other than an artist. It never was a question in my soul. And so, yeah, it kind of started with me coming out of the womb, I guess, or probably from my ancestors, because I found out later that my grandmother ran away from home when she was about 16, and she came to New York City to do jazz. And her mom came back, maybe she was 14. Her mom got her and brought her back home, and she never pursued it after that. And I found out that my great grandmother also had wanted to sing, but never did. So I came out like ready to go from the top.
that lineage.
Yeah.
Yes. Sarak, how about yourself? I mean, we're talking about music here and lyrically. Woof.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's funny. I have always had a love affair with music. I remember at a very young age just kind of pouring through my parents' albums and just randomly selecting a Jimi Hendrix album or Richie Havens or something like that. And all of these sounds that were foreign to me at the time, just igniting some part of me that I didn't even know existed. And then I was taught, indirectly early on from the way that my parents interacted with music and how they so often use music to as a salve for like, trauma, historical trauma, and like learning that very early on to tie in my emotionality with music. But I feel like as far as creating music, I feel like I wasn't drawn, I was dragged into creating music. I've never felt that I was meant to vocalize publicly. I've done theater and different like other forms of creative expression. I never really thought that I would be using my voice to connect with people in that way. And it was just something that, the right circumstances and the right environment kind of put me in that place, meeting up with my current DJ producer, Soul Messiah, and seeing him
Can we
work
give a shout out to Soul Messiah real quick? Shout out to Soul Messiah, who's been holding down turntables since I can remember, but go ahead.
But like just meeting him and hearing the music that he was creating with some phenomenal artists. And then, the vanity of the thing, like hearing yourself everybody has this want or desire to hear themselves recorded. So like, though I wrote poetry and I considered myself a writer, I never really recorded anything or presented in that way. And so one day I asked him to record me record one of my written pieces, and it didn't sound too bad. I thought it sounded terrible, but he thought it sounded okay. So it was like, okay, we can go from here. And then like being involved with like a lot of events that surrounding community activist events in Atlanta, and being once again forced on stage by the homie Iros from WRFG in Atlanta, like just calling me on stage to spit, and then seeing the response of people who had no connection to me, no idea of what my intentions were behind my words. That kind of propelled me like, okay, this is a vehicle for me.
Taurus.
Yes. Well, I tell you this, my auntie, she told me a story. Actually, she let me see the full story. She's like, baby, you got lost at the swap meet. We couldn't find you. And I was standing up looking at a guitar. It was for $5. And then when they found me, I told them I wanted that guitar. And so that was the start for me. My uncle had bands. My mom's youngest brother, and she has a younger sister, but the youngest is the brother. And so we used to watch him rehearse and stuff. My oldest brother got an instrument first, a snare drum. I put a hole in it, so of course he was mad. So I was always like interested from a very young age. I remember my grandfather coming over and playing boogie woogie piano for me and my brothers and tripping us out, and because he would do it like once a year or something, and we didn't even know him to be a musician or nothing. It was just like, what, and we would be bugged out, and then he would leave. And then we would try to figure it out. Of course, I was the person playing the bass part on the piano. My other brothers, one was in the middle and one had the high part. So hence me playing bass, I would imagine. But then on my father's side of the family, I've seen pictures when I was 1 year old, standing in the picture, and he's holding an acoustic guitar. And I was like, okay, well, dang, I've been seeing guitar since, I probably don't even remember. And seeing those pictures, coming across those pictures, alerted me to that fact that, wow, okay, you thought it was when you were 5, but it was actually when you were 1. My grandmother, who was a good friend of Maya Angelou, and I remember being in the living room hearing them talk and telling me to practice BB King and putting on records, put a stack of records, and then they'd be talking in the living room, and then I got to figure out what's happening. Right. So that was up around, that was 5, 6 years old, so it started. She had jazz clubs in Reno, my grandmother, my father's mother. So it was around, and I didn't really understand when I was choosing to play guitar, that that was like inevitable, that you're going to be dealing with this. And I had all the support too,
And that's so important.
Yeah.
So important. I think for all of you having that support, and I think each of you have said that you've had that support.
Yeah.
Taurus, you touched on something from the age of 5 that I want to know if it's been incorporated into your now, your process.
Yeah.
When you're creating, what does that, if you had to visualize that process, what would it look like? Is it a stack of records that you go through?
No, if I had to visualize it, it'd be other created beings wanting to like what I'm doing. Yeah. And so how deeply can I get into this music to where not just human beings would like it, but other beings could like it as well? You know, because we share not only this planet, but all these systems of, you know, creation with many other beings. So it's not, we don't just affect what's happening here on Earth. What's on Earth affects all of the other places that we are sharing, you know what I mean? So when I'm dealing with going deep inside, it's not just for the purpose of this physical reality of us human beings that, you know, we on this planet right here. It's a lot of other things involved, a lot of other beings involved, you know. And so that process for me is emptying out so that whatever is poured inside can truly be that thing and not what I think that I'm making up on my bass or on piano or whatever. It's like you know, really surrendering so that, you know, the grand spirit of all of us can take over and make the music, and then we just witness it, everybody, whether I'm playing live or making some music right here right now. Like, let me see what I can come up with. It's not me. I might say, let me see what I'm going to come up with, but I know that I ain't coming up with shit. Yeah.
So some people would call that channeling.
Yeah, sure. Or streaming. I call it streaming because I already have the intention to be the vessel. So just come on, let me be the stream. Yeah. Challenge, stream it on down, and I'm gonna let it out. I don't have a problem letting it out. Let's go.
Maya, you're shaking your head. Your creative process, are you agreeing, or is it something a little bit different?
Oh, I definitely agree with Taurus. You know, I call it downloading. He says,
yeah.
There's times where I'm downloading because it already exists. Certain songs already exist. If you think, I don't know, I feel like that. But when I'm creating, often I'm mostly trying to capture the message or feeling that I have inside of my soul, and I'm trying to capture it with an essence, which is the song. And so while I'm creating, I'm really trying to like scratch through this wall to get to what can perfectly describe the feeling that I have in my soul. And that feeling can be about different subjects. And sometimes when I'm writing, I'm also representing other people. So there are people who don't have a voice in the world that's big enough, and a song can give their voice wings. So I'm thinking, how can I honor their story through the song that I create? And then I have been thinking a lot more about ancestors lately. In the times that we're in, generations of people that fought for the right to be treated equally and to be treated as human beings. They came before us and gave up a lot. And so when I'm creating and when I'm performing, I try to like ground myself in that realization that I am with everything that came before me in my history. And that's coming through in the current moment through this performance and through this song that I'm creating. So these are the things that I try to tap into, but then, you know, it's balanced with trying to write a good song technically and write a song that can, you know, reach people on a large scale and meet the marks of making it in the industry. So it's like this constant balance between, you know, being authentic and also checking myself to like be like technically correct with it too.
Sean, talk to us about this. You're a reprise, so I know you have some insight, and if you could share with us.
I think for me, creatively, everything is about now. You know, I'm an aesthetic and sonic person, so I create with what I see in life. Like if I have a conversation, I'm something in the conversation may spark up something in me. That's the title of the song. You know, and we're speaking about with the social injustices and all the changes happening. Those things affect me. So for me, it's all about what affects me and what I think, you know, it's the vibrations around me. And it's all about vulnerability for me. When I get in the studio, it's about, let me be vulnerable to whatever it is that's happening with me. For me, music is my diary. When I'm gone, that's the only thing that is left to say that I existed, and that was the story of my life. And I study a lot of artists and their biographies. And you listen to Marvin Gaye's discography, you read his book. That's the story of his life, you know, and that for me is a really important thing to give out. So like, you know, I think the thing about music that I've seen and experienced is that connection that you can't replace with anything. I've DJed with people that I've, you know, seen people, you know, that I've literally seen them heal from the dance floor, you know, like, you know, I've been grieving for 6 months over my mom's death, and I've never been able to get over it. But now tonight, you know, that's come out of me, and you know, and it's like, wow, you can't pay me enough for that. And I think that when I go in, that the connection, that thing is that honesty and that vulnerability that you just, again, what Torres said is just submitting to whatever that moment, that thing is, and I think that's that channeling as well. You know, but my approach is always, you know, what's going on with you right now? What is it that I need to release? Because then I can move on to the next song. Because there's another instance coming up in my life that I got to talk about. So that's my process.
Sarak, when you have pen and paper, where are you going? How does it flow? Where does it come from?
What everyone has said has resonated really deeply with me, and I can connect to all of it, because really it is about channeling for me as well. Not only the ancestors, because I feel like I've been compelled to do this thing. In many instances, it is they who are speaking through me. You know what I mean? Especially when I can't find the words. And in many aspects, also channeling the deeper parts of myself that I either have been afraid to access or didn't even know, you know, have yet to uncover or discover. And so it is that, what Maya was saying, that balance between, you know, releasing and opening yourself up to that kind of spirit energy and being vulnerable, but also because hip hop is very technical. You know, you have to deal with cadence and rhythm and riding the beat and, you know, coming up with creative ways to flow, you know. And so that, you know, and then also making a song, coming up with a dope hook, you know, so though that kind of balance can be challenging sometimes. But it's the moments where I just let myself go and ride off of that wave of emotion that I'm feeling, and then let that tell the story. That's when I'm able to really freely create.
We've talked about our lineage and our ancestors. I want to talk about the future generations. I want to talk about our legacy. And we just, John Lewis, now our Baba, has just passed away. And one of the quotes that just kind of resonates with me when he says this, he says, every generation leaves behind a legacy. What that legacy will be is determined by the people of that generation. I take that further and say by the creators of that generation. Taurus, what legacy do you want to leave behind?
You know, I often think about, you know, when people witness like Train and Mingus and Bird play, these jazz musicians, Duke Ellington, Count Basie, all of them, who left these roadmaps for us, haven't had like close relations with these masters like Betty Carter and Art Blakey, and talking with them, they always expounded on the principle of don't do what we did, but take it from where we left off, you know. And so whenever I'm doing what I'm doing, whether it's playing bass or exploring the piano or writing a song or whatever, um, it's to do my best to take the music that was passed on to another place, you know, if I can, you know, if that's going, if that door is going to open, then I don't want people to be like, oh man, you sound like Mingus. I prefer for them to say, you have something that's with you that reminded me of when I watched Mingus play. You know, and that's with any idiom of the music or on any instrument. I'm trying to go all the way there, and I want people to know that was a person who wasn't really necessarily thinking about um, trying to do something that everybody, it's not, I'm not trying to do everything that so that everybody can like it. It's because everything is not for everyone, you know, at that moment. And like,
it's like art.
Yeah, it might be later that they would actually understand it, or it would affect them in a way that could help them. Right. But my initial intention is to let it come out in its highest level of truth, so that no matter what, that is going to be the thing that's witnessed inside of what I've done. It will be applicable at the right time for whoever is introduced to it 10 years from now, right now, 50 years from now, whatever, you know, that it would just say that this is that's I was there and I saw that, and that definitely, that's how it made me feel, whatever. Someone witnessed, you know.
Powerful. Salrock, when you think about your legacy, how do you want your art, your music to leave the print on this world?
I want my music to give people the permission to be free. Whether that's freedom to act, freedom to emote, freedom to rebel, or freedom to access those parts of themselves that society tells them to repress, that society tells them is unworthy or unpalatable, because it's been so, and that's the transformative act, that's the radical act there. It's been so healing and transformative for me to be able to, as I've said before, channel those sides of myself that I was taught needed to be muted or tampened down. You know, that power that you know, I always say when I'm really feeling myself, I'm on my Kali Ma energy. You know, I'm rah-rah, I'm just, you know, on my Oya, all of that. Because, you know, I, in particular, was taught and conditioned to be this quiet, you know, don't make waves, very rule following. And so in the discovery of my art, in the discovery of my purpose, I learned to reject those restraints, some self-imposed and some societally imposed. And that offered me a sense of empowerment, richness, and freedom that I love to see anybody listening to my music access, because that's how we transform the world, when we understand how powerful we are. There's a quote from Audre Lorde that I love, and she says, when I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, it becomes less and less important whether I'm afraid. And that's like a mantra for me. And I hope that it can become a mantra for other people when they see, you know, oh, every time I talk to Cyrock, she's so quiet. She's so different from how she is on stage. When I go on stage, I'm like a fireball of all of, you know, these powerful women who are part of my lineage, and all of these powerful artists and writers who are just speaking through me and working through me. And I want people to be able to feel that and do that and transform the world in that way.
Beautiful. Maya, your legacy.
So a couple of things come to mind. By the way, I'm in like Cyrock school, so you know.
All right.
I'm in the school, so amen to everything everyone else has said. What I think about truth is that truth is timeless. So I seek to create songs and music that's classic and therefore timeless. You can look at any party and you can drop a Stevie Wonder joint in the middle of any current song, and everybody still runs to the dance floor and sings along at the top of their lungs. You don't say, oh, what is this 40-year-old song you just threw on? You know, nobody says that, because when something is classic, it's timeless. And that is the kind of legacy that I desire to be able to have with the songs that I write and create. That they don't feel stuck, but that they are always kind of representing the truth, because the truth is always never out of fashion, put it that way. Another thing that I would like to say, which kind of reflects on Cyrock's position, is this. I have a saying, a victim is somebody whose power was taken away from them. A survivor is somebody who made it through and has much to celebrate because they made it through. But a warrior is somebody who takes their power back. And what I would like for my songs to do for people is to remind them of their power and remind them of the power that they may have given away. So many people walk through life with a victim mentality, and they don't realize that they actually have given their power away. And it is really just a shift in perspective for them to reclaim their power. And it starts in your personal life, your personal environment, and then it extends from there to society and politics. But within ourselves, we often have given our power away, and there is a reclaiming of power. And why I say art, I'm an advocate for art as power. Art is my weapon and my way to just zing people and be like, not just wake up, but remember, you are mighty. Remember, you are beautiful. Remember that you are somebody. Remember. And that singing it, like being on stage and being in a position to give people that and have people wake up and be like, I can do this. I don't have to stay in an abusive relationship. I can do this. I can quit that job. I can do this. I can start that thing I always wanted to start. And man, if art can do that, if I can create something that makes people remember that, then I have definitely fulfilled my purpose.
Wow, Oshun. I mean, I see you. Oshun, you over here passing the offering plate. I mean,
no, it's hot out here, man. I'm in St. Louis. It's 92 degrees and 100% humidity. What are you talking about? It's hot.
Yeah. But when
I think for me, you know, I guess I've experienced so many situations where I know that my music heals. So that for me is that's the purpose. You know, I think I again going into it, it's always the honest part of me. So it's yeah. I just want to leave something that heals people. You know, make people feel like they're loved and that they the things that I've experienced that they connect with. That you know, it's honest and it's you know, the music, the vibrations are really, really powerful and strong. And, you know, depending on what key it is, it makes you feel certain ways. And I always approach music initially with the heart in mind. You know, it's always about like, you get some funky drums, but I'm gonna give you those chords or, you know, the roads, something that's gonna really put you in this calm state of, okay, let me settle down. Let me remember. Let me, you know, what Maya was saying, let me be. And I think that's the part of the healing, you know, that thing of, I'm a really slow energy person. I'm not a very aggressive, I'm very slow. And I think that's the thing. It's like, yeah, let my music give you that. Like, just take it easy. Just be right now, just be. I guess that's for me what it is.
I know I have to say, I have to cut this program for a little, but I've got to ask you this question because you brought it up.
Okay.
When you say that you create with the heart in mind, is that a key?
Sorry.
Is that a key? Is that a particular key? Is it a particular
No,
sound?
no, no.
Is
I
it a
just think it's my
particular
intent,
grab?
and it's my intent and my approach to music. Like I don't make music unless it's innate. When that moment comes, it's like I don't care what I'm doing in the world. I have to make music right now. I can't go in the studio and like I can't plan. I can't set up a situation or a session. I mean, I can, but then for me, it's not as organic. For me, it's like, all right, this has to come out now, you know. And so it's all about, again, I'm a very now person. I live in the now. The present is the gift. You know, I can't control what's happening, and I don't give a shit about yesterday. So for me, I'm always about the now, and I like the fact of understanding the beauty of I'm alive. You know, what am I doing with this moment? And for me, I'm absorbing. I'm always I'm just absorbing everything, and I want to give it out. And so when I get in that music, it's like, okay, what did I take out? What did I take in? I have to give that out. And again, that replenishes me. That I can go again and refill. Get something else out. You know, that's my process. I'm just here I'm just a sponge. I'm just absorbing it all and taking it all in, and you know, again, seeing what's right, what's wrong, and how I feel about it, and using it as my voice to connect with people and go, hey, how you feel about this?
Well said. Well said. I don't know about everyone else listening, but I'm so getting my soul fed right now, talking to you all and listening to your process and listening to your way of being. It's just woof, chillings. Okay, so real quick before we move on to the next question, I just want to share with our audience the Adama Art Salon series is Adama's first program of many more to come. So we invite you to join us on this journey. Adama will be, and we are claiming it, July 19th, it will be a world-class contemporary art museum and cultural institution highlighting the global Black experience. Our program's mission is to present and advance the exploration and conversations around 21st century contemporary art and culture of the African diaspora through exhibitions, programs, and artist residencies. You can be part of this historic moment by participating in our programs, by helping us spread the word with the hashtag ADAMA, ADAMA, the abbreviation for the museum, and also by donating. Your donation of just a few dollars on a monthly basis, consider 5, consider 10, consider 15, whatever you can afford, or you can give now. For some that might be 20, for some that may be 1,000. I know we got some ballers here. I see you on the chat. I see you on the chat. I know who you are. You know I know you. So what you can give now can make a big impact on the building of Adama. So the donate link is up on the screen. Let me confirm that. Yep, there it is. It is on the screen. So please donate at this time. If you can just donate real quickly, I'm gonna put these musicians and creators on pause while you go to that donate link, and just give from your heart. You see what we're trying to do here with this institution. You know that this COVID has impacted a lot of our cultural institutions, so we're going to do something that's one would call crazy. We're going to create a institution, a cultural institution during these crazy times. So if you can contribute, you would give breath and life to this historical movement that's being created. And shout out to Dr. Fahamu Peku for having this vision and for bringing this museum to Atlanta, Georgia, that we will all benefit from. Every single one of us. I don't care if you're in Turkey, you will benefit from it. So I am pausing a little bit for you guys to go ahead and finish that donation and give. We really ask you to give. So before we end, I want to talk a little bit. We've talked about so much, and we've gotten through so many things that I wanted to talk about. But I want to play a little game here. I'm going to say a quote to you as a creator, and I want you to react to this quote. You give me your thoughts on this quote. And this quote is specific to your, what one would call in marketing, because I'm from marketing, your genre, right? So I'll start with Oshun.
My genre?
No. I'm going to give you a quote.
Oh,
and
okay,
I need you to react to this quote.
Okay.
Khalil Gibran said, oh, Khalil, music is the language of the spirit. It opens the secret of life, bringing peace, abolishing strife. What are your thoughts on that?
I think this is absolutely true. I think it's true. Yeah.
It's true.
I mean, you asked me about my genre.
And I pulled it out because it's spiritual. Because when I think of your music, and when I even think about you DJing, it's such a spiritual experience.
Yeah, for me as well, because it's the connection of the people. I'm like, all right, where are we gonna go? You tell me where you want to go. That's the beauty of the music. It's like I have the arsenal. Where are we gonna go? You know, and that at the end of the session, for me, it's healing as well, because I've experienced, it's like it's like being a shaman in that sense, because you control the vibrations of everyone. So again, it's spirit music. You know, when you can control how a person moves, that's power. And your intent has to be such of love and such of like, let's get together, you know? And that's why I can't go to a party that's playing some really hardcore, my vibrations can't handle that, I'm like, calm it down, bro. We got to be able to move together. So yeah.
Perfect.
Spirit music.
Spirit music. Yes. Talking about spirit music, Sarah, I'm going to say this quote. This quote says, from Quincy Jones, I guess hip hop has been closer to the pulse of the streets than any music that we've had in a long time. It's sociology as well as music, which is in the keeping within the tradition of Black music in America. What do you think about that?
I feel like that's absolutely true. I think absolutely our music has always been reflective of the social conditions in which we've existed. But hip hop in particular, because it's a music of young people, it was born as a music of young people. I feel like it was more unfiltered. It was more reactive, and just a lot of the methods that we use now, even where we're doing takeovers, a lot of it has to happen in the moment when we're doing responses to what's going on in society. It's very timely. It has to happen in the moment. And it's rare in that it's one of the genres that it needs to be expressed quickly, because you have hundreds of other artists that are going to hop in and bring their take on it, or they might, blaze this track before you can get a chance to do it. So it is the closest, if we think about the original 4 facets of hip hop, and the relation of the MC to the griot, or the West African Jali, the oral historian. That's exactly what we've done since the inception of hip hop. We've used music as a tool to reflect what was going on, to reflect the energy, emotion, and it's such a radical way to do that, especially since you have, these young people who are on the ground and have expectations of them to share their perspectives and really speak to or amplify the voices of those who don't have that privilege, and that's what it has been since it started in the Bronx, where the world didn't know that the Bronx was burning. The world didn't know that there was this, immense poverty, that there were these amazing, creative young people who were creating this culture. And it was so like natural and organic until, they started exploiting and capitalizing off of it. But since the beginning, it's been that, and it remains that. So absolutely, it speaks to culture, it speaks to social interactions and relations, and it is one of the most profound ways in which we can really listen to a song and immediately harken back to a particular time period. You know, we can, you know, hear, you know, we gonna be all right, and know that that was at the height of like police killings and police brutality, and you know, we can hear what's the song, All in the Same Gang, and instantly we know, oh, okay, that's East Coast, you know, West Coast beat to gang stuff. And so like it's literally a historical document, a sonic document. So I absolutely agree with that, and absolutely have kind of taken that responsibility on as an artist to continue to, you know, work in that role.
Beautiful, beautiful. Taurus, Wynton Marsalis said, jazz comes from our way of life. And because it's our national art form, it helps us to understand who we are. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the first thing that came to my mind was how we are so many different types of people, you know. And you say like who we are, okay, like some people tend to believe that they are directly descended from people who came over here on slave ships. Some people feel that they're descendants from people who were already here, from the indigenous people, you know, like, so when we talk about this music, jazz music, the art form of America, it's rooted in many lanes, you know, and which makes it so diverse. Well, it should be diverse. And I'm not going to say that everyone is being diverse that plays jazz, you know, because we like to joke around, but yeah, there's these jazz police, so to speak, who will say, yeah, that's not real jazz, you know, and but it might be someone who has a you know, their diploma, and you know, and graduated, and their masters and PhD from a jazz school. But if you put that person on a stage with, you know, a real jazz master who really, like, he was one of the creators of it, that guy with the paperwork wouldn't even be able to play with them. He wouldn't be able to understand their language, you know. But put him on stage with the people that he went to school with, and they will all probably be lovely together, you know. So
I hate that you just use that word lovely.
No, I'm serious though. No, I'm very serious about like
get it.
the loveliness of it. Like, for real, they would be, you know, it would probably be really great. But that doesn't mean that you know, it's the real way that the tradition of this music, it, you know, has come about. And a lot of people like to say that it has come out of a struggle and you know, just a hard place and hard things that were done that made this music come out. Not all of it was, you know, from that place. A lot of it's come from a very blessed and loving place, you know. There were some people who were able to be in the condition of slavery and bondage that still had certain freedoms that other individuals didn't have. So that would mean that whatever came out of them artistically, you know, would be different than someone who was just always in the field, you know. So it's not always out of a place of hardship, you know what I mean? It could be out of a place of, I'm thankful, although this is a test for me, and I do see the blessing of I'm not in the field like that, and this guy's allowed me to be a Muslim, because a lot of slaves were able to practice their Islam. Those that were Muslim, or those that were practicing different forms of African tradition and spirituality, they were allowed those things, you know. And then you have a group of people who, hey, they shutting it all down. So it's kind of hard to say that it's one way, you know. that the music has only come from struggle. And so for me, jazz is you have to find that place inside of your spirit that creates and connects with whatever was given and passed on, like again, passed on from our masters, that the music came out of, when we're talking about. And then jazz is a term that was created put onto the music that we didn't even put onto the music, so then it's like, that's almost like a loaded question. But jazz is something that is latched on to us as a people, but it is far more expansive than people would imagine.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed. I couldn't have said that any better. Maya, I want to quote Mary J. Blige for you, and this one is very interesting. And I'm thinking about your song Unleash Me, and some of your other songs that I'm a fan of. Music makes us want to live. You don't know how many times people have told me that they've been down and depressed and just wanted to die. But then a special song caught their ear, and that helped them give them renewed strength. That's the power music has. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I agree. I've been many times, had people approach me, as an independent artist, it, has its ups and downs. You have all the freedom in the world when you're an indie artist. Nobody's thumb is on me to tell me what not to do. But then the other side of freedom, as an artist, is that it's a struggle, and there isn't, support financially and all these things. So there's times when, as an artist, that I can just feel really down and sort of try to ask myself, why am I still doing this? And then I'll get like a surprise message from a fan that'll say something like, I've never told anyone this before, but I came to your show. Literally, this was told to me. I came to your show once and I was planning to end my life. And at the end of the show, I saw a reason to live. And I often say this quote to myself is that I sing as if someone's life depends on it, because it is the thing that I have to offer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a politician. It's the superpower that I have. So my reaction to Mary J. Blige's quote is that I absolutely have seen it to be true, and I have believed it before I saw it, because I just felt like inside of me, what can I offer? What can I give? What can I do? When you look at these mass tragedies, and I'm an empath, so stuff that happens to me directly and indirectly affect me deeply. And I'm thinking to myself, what can I possibly as one person bring? And then I just look at what's at my arm's reach, and what's at my arm's reach is this gift. And this is my power. This is my way. And so that is the spiritual side of the journey. It's a career and it's a business, but it's also a spiritual journey. And when I start to feel really sad about the business side of things, then there are these great, fantastic reminders that this is a spiritual journey. You do not know one spiritual master that has walked their journey without struggle. If someone ever claims to be a spiritual master and you found out that they never had an obstacle, then they're probably not a master. So if you are looking at life as a spiritual journey, you must expect that there will be tough times. And then in those tough times, this is where you're being strengthened. And so I believe that music is this power, and it does shift energy, and it does contribute to healing, and it does remind people of their power, and it just does. It's my soundtrack. Whenever I'm down, there's been times when I'm mourning whatever it was that happened to me, and I would play one song 17 times in a row. Everybody has had this experience, right? But there was a song that just spoke to your soul. It gave a voice to the pain, and it gave a voice to why you should keep going. And that's, again, what I hope to be able to be as an artist. If I can be what that was for me, for someone else, then I have fulfilled my purpose. So big ups to Mary J. She's definitely the truth. She's the truth, you know.
Look, I love it. I love when artists and when creators like yourselves talk about music outside of just giving us music, creating music. I love when you guys actually talk about that thing called music. We do have a question. It's getting close. We have a minute left, but we do have one question left. Do you guys mind if do you have a couple more minutes to stay on? So that we can address this question. Okay, cool. Shout out to my girl, Aisha. She know I love me some her, my Scorpion sister from another mother. She asked the question. I'd love to hear the panelists talk about how they see themselves as artists within the spectrum of music of the African diaspora and what's happening globally with African diaspora music that excites them the most at this time. So talking about the spectrum of music of the African diaspora as it relates to you as an artist, as well as the African diaspora music that excites you most at this time. Anyone could start this one off.
Can I start?
Please do.
Yeah. Well, you know, the African diaspora is pretty big, and it's a lot of music. We're talking about, music from Cuba, music from Nigeria, Ghana. Here in DC has go-go, but then they got trap down in Atlanta, and you know, just Detroit has its pace on house music. Their tempo is not like the tempo that they're using, you know, in other parts of the world with that type of music that you dance to. But in terms of the diaspora, what we're doing now should definitely reflect the times, you know, and if this is warrior time, then our music has to be the music that soothes the person when they come from the battlefield. Our music has to be the music that excites them to go out there and fight against these injustices. It has to be the music that spawns them to have the thoughts, you know, to create what is necessary, you know, to break the bondages or whatever. It's like, it is so important what we do as artists, and not just in music, because all of these things are intersecting: dance, visual art, spoken word. All of this is a part of what we have as these beings that happen to go through the plight that we've went through. We're the only ones who have gone through what we've gone through, and you only would have to go through it to know what it is that comes out of us as creators of art, through all of the forms of art, you know, to understand how we do what we do. And so because of that, I feel that it's necessary that in the African diaspora that we have to share our art with each other, so that we can learn how to get higher and vibrate higher and do things on a higher level, you know, because if we talk about we were kings and queens, no, we still are kings and queens, and it has to just, like Maya said, we have to take it back, and it's, you know, it's okay, you know, my brother used to take my bike or whatever, and I had to take it back one day. You know what I mean? Like okay.
It's as simple as that. Yes. So such facts. What are everyone else's thoughts about the African diaspora?
I'll be quick. I'll say I think it's all African diaspora. I think everything comes from us. We're seeing, you know, again with what's happening in the world, with all the awakeness and the awareness and the history of people really understanding what we created and what we contributed to this world. It's all us. Yeah. It's all us. Yeah. I'll just leave it at that. Where I see myself, I'm just a part of it. You know, I mean, I would love to think of myself, you know, I'm a part of the Black history of music. You know, I've carved out my little space and I got my thing, and but it's all Black music. I think that, you know, I don't care where you're from. It's all Black music. It's all us.
I would love to say something. What I love about the one thing, you know, there's pros and cons to the internet, of course, but one of the pros is that African music, like coming from Africa, is being able to be supported and loved and inspiring the playing field. I find that very exciting that, you know, and I have friends that are dancers as well, like talking about Congolese dance, you know what I mean? And they're just throwing it, mixing it in with popping and breaking, or Nigerian music mixed with pop, you know, etc. I love that we can actually hear and celebrate and incorporate African, different cultures of Africa music into our Western vibes, and they're incorporating our Western vibes into their sound. And also we're cross collaborating as artists, and that is something that the internet has made possible. But I would say on the other side of it is the fact that because we're Black doesn't mean that we have to stay within a genre. And I found like I have a friend named Abia, which Jodine, you know, of course, a great singer. And he's singing something that's fairly like singer-songwriter kind of pop. And they serviced the album to radio stations, and they just said, oh, it's a Black guy on the cover, so we're gonna put it in the R&B section. And it wasn't R&B, and he was frustrated. It's not R&B. There's not gonna be a response in that realm because the sound is not R&B, but people just assume, oh, it's a Black guy, so it's R&B, you know. So I guess it's a mixed bag of like owning your roots and all celebrating your roots, celebrating all that is the African diaspora, and also not being limited by other people's notion of, you know, what is Black supposed to be, you know what I'm saying? And as Oshunlade said, it's all in me, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, can I push this a little further and say, so if that's the case, when we talk about music, does it necessarily need to be called Black music if music is music?
Is this music?
It's music.
Is this music?
So
but there's a little bit of a question here. It is just music, but on the other side, we have been stolen from so much that there is a sense of ownership that we feel towards certain things like gospel and jazz. Like we do feel a sense of like holding it because a lot of have been stripped away from us, repackaged and sold at a higher price, and we don't get the profits.
I think about hip hop, Sarak, when she says this. I think about where hip hop is right now. I saw an amazing 5-group Korean group of 5 Korean guys that were killing it.
Gospel,
in the hip hop game.
Oh, hip hop.
You know, no.
Okay.
Can I interject a bit?
Go ahead, Oshun.
You know, no one ever talks about funk. You know, funk is the only thing they couldn't take from us.
I grew up playing funk.
It's the one thing they couldn't copy because you gotta feel that. They could never get it. And then you notice right after that, they grouped R&B and soul together. When they couldn't get funk, we became.
Wow.
I don't know if you noticed that.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember.
It was a little tricky to try to wash away the distinction because, you know, there are things that at least let's not erase the history because that's easy to happen. You know, I feel that because I have traveled around the world as well, and I have been to China, for example, and I work with Chinese rappers. I mean, I've been in all kinds of environments where they know more about our history than we do.
Oh, absolutely.
So they have respect for it, and I wouldn't want them not to play jazz. I wouldn't want them not to play reggae and not to feel it from their heart. But at the same time, they pay respect and know where it came from. And that's different than just erasing the backstory, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm talking about the corporate and the American, you know, the system. The business of music.
Yeah, but that's what's so dope about having programs like this with ADAMA, because we are being a part of rewriting the history that was written for us, and that's really important that, you know, we do things like this so that we can give anyone who gets involved with listening to a talk like this or reading it or however they might come across is that we are the ones who are carrying the torch now. And if we are telling you, no, that's not it, you're supposed to accept that that's pretty much, yeah, no, that's not it. This is what we're saying that it is, because we didn't say that's what it was. They said that. Someone else said that. But like, you know, Oshun says that, yo, hey, man, I'm not going to be raw. I'm looking for this easy way to kind of make it be water and ocean. And yeah, the ocean waves is going to can destroy a boat, but that's not my intention. I want to flow. We need to flow. So if that's what he said, that's where it's at. Even though you might have listened to something that made you rah with his music, that's not where he's at with it. That's the real truth, you know. And sometimes people will put the things that we do and say in their words, and it won't even necessarily be how we really feel about it. So
that's the risk of taking the saying it's no longer Black, but I just think it's just
exactly
the balance to strike, because if Black means that we get paid less, or Black means, you know, oh, you're a Black actress, therefore we can't bill you the same as we could bill a white, you know, when it becomes a liability, then it's an issue. But I think there's this distinct balance where we shouldn't erase, you know, our history and our ties to certain things, you know, that we were a part of creating, or that we created, you know. It's weird, it's interesting, right?
Sarek, I wanted to get your thoughts on this before we move on to the last question in the Q&A box. What are your thoughts on what we're discussing right now?
As far as we're talking about
the diaspora,
the African diaspora, specifically, especially when, and I'm telling you, K-pop, you would have thought they invented hip hop.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I've traveled extensively, and in Europe, for example, a lot of when I've gone to France, gone to hip hop events, it's a struggle for Black artists to even get the mic. They're Black hip hop artists to even get the mic.
What?
There are, it's crazy. And when you in Germany, I've seen breakdancing, b-boying classes and stuff, and primarily the folks that are in there are non-Black. And there are some many disheartening, aspects of how, widespread, or how our culture and music has permeated all aspects of the globe. And it speaks to just how powerful and creative and dope we are as a people. But it makes it that much easier sometimes for other people to kind of grab and reappropriate what's within, what we've created from our soul. But the other side of that is that, like Maya was saying, through technology, we're also able to connect through this shared language. So I can hear Sampa's influence from Lauryn Hill while she's also, having aspects of Afrobeat and, other African sounds and rhythms, incorporated in her music. And I can listen to Stormzy and hear him communicating through hip hop. And it's super dope. There are words and phrases and language that I don't know because he's born and bred in London. Well, not born, but bred in London. But it's still this beautiful language that we can create through. And it just reminds me of the Pan-Africanist movement, the Negritude movements, when there were African-Americans and Africans born in America and Africans in France and on the continent, exchanging ideas through culture and music. And it's really, really beautiful to see, especially now when we're starting to, I've seen these kind of divisions pop up, amongst, I don't even want to get into that on here.
It's all good. It's all good.
When it's all just, we all come from one place. There's just different ports that we've been dropped off at, but there's this shared connection, and that is from the continent. And we see that expressed most vividly, I feel through music. So it's a really beautiful thing, and it's a really beautiful thing to be able to travel and connect and create music with folks who are speaking in a different language but like that that heartbeat, that drum, you know, that is from literally from African soil. Like we resonate. That heartbeat connects us. You know what I mean? Like I'm from DC, and that go-go is, you know, directing conga drums from West Africa. You know, so like we're connecting to something much deeper, something that we may not have ever even explored. There was a trip a couple of years ago where they took like some go-go artists. I think they took Backyard Band, which is a long-running go-go band, to Ghana.
Yeah, right.
And
I remember that. Yes.
Yeah, which was so dope to me. Was so dope. And they brought folks who ain't stepped foot, probably didn't know nothing about Ghana, not little about Africa. I'm assuming, but you know, I know some people who went on the trip, and I know that was the case. There was a range of folks who went to school at institutions like I did, like Pan-African institutions, but also folks who were straight from the hood of Southeast, where I'm from as well, who weren't familiar with that. But the fact that they were able to take this music that is it's DC to the core, you know, that is us, that they've tried to mute, they've tried to erase, gentrify, stomp, trample all over. But the strength of it and the tie, you know, that we can directly link right back to where we come from, where we were stolen from. It's just tremendous and profound. And to be able to see those linkages it's transformational as a creator. And I would love to continue that exchange and see how we're affecting each other, and like, you know, we're elevating off of and reverberating off of each other's sounds. So it's dope.
So I'll say this and then I'll ask the last question, but the young lady who I just interviewed on the Silver Lining series, yes, I'm doing an infamous plug. If you go to jodinedorsey.com, my last interview was with Gina Page, and she's the founder and president of African Ancestry, and she's actually responsible for that trip you were talking about. And she does this. This is what she does. You take your DNA test. It links you to whatever your tribe was in Africa, and you can go there through a sponsor trip or through on your own and connect to your lineage. So it's a beautiful, if you don't know African Ancestry, they did not pay for this endorsement. I'm just saying this. She's on Silver Lining. You can learn more about that. The Silver Lining series is amazing. Okay, so last question. Oh, yes. This is the last question. This is the last one that I can take. You know, the audience, the folks have been in it. Thank you guys for being so engaged in this conversation. There's one thing you could talk about that everyone understands is music. Tracy Fortson, yes, Tracecapades. She asked, name a song or two that are on your soundtrack for the revolution, anyone can take this. A song or two that you have on your soundtrack for revolution. The Refuge. By who? Hold on. Let me
No. I'm asking. Was that the question? It was for refuge, yeah?
For refuge, for when you think about revolution, this is the song, or these are the two songs that immediately comes to mind.
I have to think on that one.
Yeah, that's the hard. Yeah,
You know, I'll go first. I think about I immediately when I think about revolution, it's not even a song, it's a genre. I immediately go into rah-rah music, Haitian rah-rah music. I don't know if you're familiar with Haitian rah-rah music. But if you're not Haitian, they call it voodoo music, and because of what Western society has labeled voodoo, because it's so close to home and keeps us connected to our African roots, they've demonized it. But if you are familiar with voodoo, you know that it's just a spiritual act. And voodoo music is one of those musics that as soon as when I was looking at that little girl on Instagram that was saying no justice, no peace, and she was saying all fury. I don't know if you guys saw that clip.
Yeah.
I just heard the sound of rah rah music under her. It was like embedded into the. I just saw her face, I saw her energy, and I heard that music, and I was just like, "Let's go, Jodine." I started looking up politicians to support. I started like, you know what I mean? Like that's the music for me, the genre for me that I think of when it's time to pull out the machete and hit these streets. What do y'all think about it?
I have one song that I've been playing the last 2 weeks, and it just I love the song, but I realized that it's so poignant for the moment now. It's the Silvers, New Horizon. I don't know if you know that.
The Silvers, New Horizon. Hold on,
Silvers, New Horizon. It's a fun song. It's a happy song, but it's just the lyrics are I gotta live my life. You know, I'm looking for a new horizon, and I'm looking at all these protests and stuff, and I'm playing this song, and I'm like, wow, it just sounds like you're overcoming something. So that would be that would be the first thing that comes to mind.
Anyone else have some thoughts on that?
I had well, there's a record that Mark Carey put out, piano player, and there was a song on this record called Roads Ahead that Roy Hargrove and myself sang on.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was just wow. So yeah, check that out. And it's called Inside Yourself You Will Find Love. And it's like a house vibe. But I thought of that, and I thought of A Love Supreme, and I thought of Ida Faye from Senegal, and she's a chant singer in the Sufi order that I'm a part of, and it's all about chanting in a way to purify your heart, so that God can, the Almighty can enter your heart, and you can become one with, this complete annihilation of who you think that you are. And that's the thing that comes to my mind when revolution is being spoke of, because we should all be able to deal with annihilating our desires so that we can become one with each other, while being one with who created us, all at the same time. And so those are songs to me that would put me in the state of being, in the state of mind to go forth and do whatever necessary, because even in doing something that is a part of revolution, like you said, when you said grab machete, that's not necessarily a pretty sight.
No,
but when you're slaughtering a ram or a goat or a sheep or whatever, that has to be done in love. So when you eat the meat and give out the meat, of the portions that are for the needy people and all that stuff to receive the blessing, that slaughtering is done out of love. It's not done out of anger, although a life is taken.
Right.
So those are the pieces for me. Ida Faye, who is a Senegalese praise singer, of course, John Coltrane, A Love Supreme, and then that song on Mark Carey's album, Inside Yourself You Will Find Love.
God, it's really hard for me to answer such a question. Anytime anyone asks me even to sing a song, my brain freezes and I'm like, I can't think of anything. But I was fresh on my mind. Yo, Sarak, your music is incredible. Her song Forever is like the truth, really. And also Goddess Gang. Check out Sarak if everyone is not familiar, you want some empowerment, like listen to those words and the performance. There's an artist named Wayala, and she has a song, When the Lord Get Us Ready. It is incredible. It's mostly in her dialect, But there's a really incredible part where these women's voices come and says, when the Lord get us ready, meaning like nothing can stop you. And you all mentioned Kendrick earlier. We gonna be all right. Every time I hear that song, I get chill. I don't care how many times they play it, and I be yelling it at the top of, we gonna be all, I love it. I have to shout that one out. Those are some that come to mind, but I really, I'm sure I missed them. I'm sure I missed them. I'm trying to write them too. I'm trying to write some songs that for the revolution.
Absolutely. Any come to mind, Sarak, before we close out?
I have a few. Tracy Chapman, Born to Fight. For sure. Ain't no man, no woman, no beast alive that can't take me. I was born to fight. I love that. Like, it just gets me there. KRS-One, Sound of the Police. That makes me angry and cry. And like, I turn into a blithering just ball of emotion when I hear that song, but it also like readies me for what needs to be dismantled, what needs to be addressed, and needs to be overturned and defeated. So like that one for sure. And Bob Marley's Zimbabwe.
Yes. Yes. Anything Bob Marley from There's a Year.
How about that?
That gets you ready. It just gets you ready. It just yes. Anywho, so real quickly, and I'm just gonna make this quick because we do have to close out. I can't. When I tell you my soul is fed, my soul is fed. I want to make sure that people keep in contact. Some of them are huge fans of yours. Some of them are being introduced to you for the first time, and they want to hear what you create. So, Maya, can you kick us off and tell us, how do we keep in contact with you? Where do we go to find out more about your music, your releases, your shows that hopefully will be coming up soon?
I'm most daily active on Instagram. That's where it's really like understanding what I'm doing currently. So Instagram is just my name, Maya Azucena. And I'm trying to be more up to date on YouTube. I have a couple of new songs, Unleash Me and Prettiest, actually, which is about the power of your inner beauty. So those are my two recent songs. But Instagram, I would really love it if you guys followed me there and kept in touch with me there.
Perfect. Sarak, how do we keep in contact with you and know what's coming up?
I'm active on most social media platforms. I'm willing, but active. Instagram is Sarak the MC, SAROCTHEMC. Facebook is Sarak, how I spell my name, SA-ROC. Twitter is also Sarak, I believe, Sarak, SA-ROC. And then I have a website that is spelled like my name, sa-roc.com. But yeah, I'm probably most active on Instagram. But yeah, I have an upcoming project coming up in the fall and a couple of releases coming within the next couple of weeks and months. So stay tuned for that.
All right.
Nice. Taurus, how do we keep in contact with you?
Instagram, Taurus Mateen, on Instagram. And that's what I'm predominantly like letting people know what I'm doing. I've been, like I said, to Sarak, Tamika Love Jones is a wonderful singer and writer that most of my music I've been doing lately is for her, my wife. And so, we have some real powerful.
I want to say, I know Tamika Love Jones. Wait a minute.
Coming out, in the near future, like, and a lot of music that's for what's going on right now. And then it's a lot of love music going on, too. Like, I know it's a lot of babies being made right now. People locked in. So we got some love music for y'all. And then we also have some revolution music. Yeah. So even if you went to Tamika's web stuff on Instagram, you'll find that I'm present with her stuff, But and then my website, taurusmateen.com. I'll be traveling to Senegal, so I need Oshun and Sarak and Maya to be on board with me.
Yes.
I'm opening up something for us to be using that as a a place to go and share our arts. So
Wait, you said Senegal?
I'm going to Senegal to close some contracts so that we can have a hub in Senegal.
So there's a young lady. She's part of the art collective in Atlanta. She's the executive director of Hammond's House.
I played there a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, her name is Leatrice Elzy.
Okay.
Please make sure you connect with Leatrice Elzy before you go down to Senegal. She's got you covered.
All right.
Promise you that.
Cool.
Promise you that.
Cool.
Oshun, where do we get these 5 albums that you just created? And the one that you created just now, because I saw you. I saw you making music while we talk.
Instagram, Oshunlade Official, Yoruba Records Official, Twitter, Yoruba Records Official, not on Facebook, not on anything else, I don't think. No. YorubaSoul.com is the site. Lots of merch there. Go get your bean bag.
Yeah, all right.
The music is all Yoruba Records or just Bandcamp. You can you have 2 labels, Yoruba Records and Yoruba Soul. Yoruba Soul is all the non-house stuff. So Bandcamp, search Yoruba Records or Yoruba Soul, or you can go to Digger's Factory if you're a vinyl head and search Yoruba, and we got quite a few campaigns up there for vinyl. So yeah.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Perfect. I can't thank you enough, creators. I want to thank you, Maya, Torres, Sarak, Oshunlade, and encourage you to support and follow them. Be sure you all to follow ADAMA on Instagram. That's ADAMA_ATL, because it will be based out of Atlanta, or on Facebook at ADAMA_ATL. You can also subscribe to the email list through the website, and that's adamatl.org, ADAMATL.org. Please note that today's panel will be archived on the ADAMA website along with our previous programs, so you can check out some of the other series. Not as dope as this, because we talking about music. Okay, I'm sorry. I had to say that for Hamu. I'm sorry. I had to say that. And because I'm hosting. But if you didn't have a chance to donate earlier, please, we encourage you to contribute to this historical movement that's happening right now with ADAMA ATL. It's a cultural institution that we are going to erect during a time of crazy, when we need it the most. So please support this and future programs from the African Diaspora Art Museum of Atlanta. My name is Jodine Dorsey. I thank you for being part of this conversation. I can't thank you guys enough. Thank you for feeding my soul and reminding me who I am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Take care.
It's good to see y'all.
Good to see y'all.
We'll link musically.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I
Oh,
need to
we have
do
Dr.
an
Peku on
exhibit
here.
of my collages at the museum. What's up?
We got you. We got you. And if y'all need me to spit a hot 16, I got you.
No.
We can battle though, Tommy.
Ready.
Thank y'all. That was awesome. That was really great. I really appreciate you. I'll put out a link to the video once it's posted to the website. But thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bless Sunday.
Blessings,
Tell
everyone.
Tamika I said I love her, please.
I will. Definitely.
Peace, y'all.
All right. Peace.